afternoon and welcome to the social media program on television, The Buzz. We're at the table again this lovely Thursday afternoon. And you know, Thursdays on this show is always the bomb, always lit. I'm excited because we're going to be discussing very, very interesting topics on the program today. My name is Patience Bello Okafo, and of course, I welcome you to today's edition of the show. It's the 11th of October, 2018. Joining me at the table this afternoon, unexpectedly on a Thursday, is my dear friend, Betty Abba. Betty is an activist. I mean, she's 100% into the fight to protect the rights of the girl child, even the male child, you know, human rights issues and all of that. She's a guru. She's also an author, a journalist in her own right, and of course, a social commentator. Good afternoon, Betty.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us. Also, this guy that just brings a smile to my face every single time. He is that good, that good. He is a child psychologist, a counselor, and of course, my unofficial boyfriend.
Oh, Lord.
Charles Oyenoche.
Oh, my God.
Charles.
Thank you, Patience.
Yeah,
it's great to see
there.
you. Yeah, right? I know.
Okay. All right. I like to call her the mama of this show. Yes, on Thursdays, she comes, you know, from the biblical angle every time. So she brings a balance to every discussion. She's a minister of God. She's an author, a gospel artist, and a counselor. Pastor Dolly is right here again. Good afternoon, Pastor Dolly.
Good afternoon. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you. And of course, he looks like a gentleman, but no. Not what you're thinking, though. I mean, he can stand his grounds in the midst of 100 women, you know, and all of that. A very good man. He's a real estate guru. He is also the General Secretary, Lagos State Chapter for Liberation Movement, and he's also a life coach. Mr. Mustafa Iwela, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Tasha. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for always coming on the program. All right, if you're viewing us from anywhere, the number to use is 0802-836-8971. The number is for SMS only. Don't call. Nigerians, they will still call. Oh, please, try. Just send a text, all right? Okay, let's go straight into the program because of time. Our first topic today. A video of the wife of the pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Foluke Adeboye, has gone viral where she's seen asking youths to seek the counsel of their pastors first before their parents when they are about to get married. Now, this has sparked off a whole lot of controversy on social media. So we're asking the question, when you're planning to get married, who do you tell first? Is it your pastor or your parents? Before we discuss that, let's take a break. Go see the video where she was actually saying that. We'll be right back.
To go to our pastor. Why pastor first before parents? Because in the body of Christ there must not be any confusion. Probably somebody has come to tell the pastor that, oh, this particular girl belongs to me. Oh, I have prayed, God has chosen her. And you now get to the pastor, and the girl you said God has shown to you, 2 or 3 boys had come to the pastor. I don't think in the body of Christ there should be confusion. We are, God is leading. Psalm 16 verse 8 to 11. Psalm 16 verse 8 to 11 says, I have put the Lord before me. And because it's at my right hand, I know he will lead me.
Welcome back. 0802-836-8971. So, who do we tell first? Your pastor or your parents? Let's start with you, Betty.
I would say my parents. Because they have a very big spiritual authority over me. They are the people that vetted me. And whether we like it or not, whether our parents are educated or not, whether they are experienced or as savvy as we are or not, they are more experienced than we are. In the real sense of everyday experience. And experience is something that you cannot buy in schools, you cannot buy in the market, you cannot buy on the streets of life. You cannot buy on the streets, sorry. And so I think parents first. I believe that as a Christian, yes, I respect the spiritual authority of pastors, but I think at a point that there should be a definition. At a point, pastors, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to tell the pastor, but in terms of hierarchy, in terms of priority, my parents should know first. Because especially my mother, because women in particular have intuition. And so many times when your mother says, don't marry this person, I feel that something is wrong. Most times it happens that way, except for parents that may have some petty consideration, sentiment. You must marry from my village and all of that. I believe personally and very strongly that parents should be told first. But being a pastor does not automatically confer on you the title of a marriage counselor. And so many times we see so many things going wrong because people just go out of their way to counsel where they are not, where they do not have that authority, that knowledge, simply because they are pastors, simply because they are heading a church. And at the end of the day, so many things go bad. So I think for me as a person, my parents first.
Okay. All right, Charles, do you agree with the pastor in the video?
To a large extent, I agree with her. But however, I would like to look at this issue from a holistic point of view and not just, isolated. First of all, like she rightly said, your parents, the people that gave birth to you, or those who have played the role of parents in your life, hold utmost authority. They hold utmost, position as far as mentorship or stuff like that is concerned. But I think the problem with what the pastor said, she didn't actually delineate exactly what she was trying to say properly. And sometimes when you're giving like a speech, there's a lot of muddling up that comes. Your thoughts are not properly articulated. Now, what I have to say, like, she made a valid point. There's usually a lot of confusion amongst young people. And I remember at a point in my life where I was a part of like a Christian group, and one of the pastors told us that, look, if you see a lady in this fellowship and you are interested, it's safer for you and her to come to us first and let's know your intentions. And then he went on to explain that the pastors or the spiritual leaders of that group may know things about the members that you don't know. On face value, you just see someone, you don't know where the person is coming from, and there might be probably someone else on the line interested in this lady. And if you just go straight, there's a lot of confusion they try to, help us avoid. However, this is my take on this issue of parent first or pastor first. I have a problem, and that's where I totally disagree with the pastor that spoke. I have a problem where you want to make it a rule that is black and white and binding on everyone by saying, this is the person you should talk to first. I don't agree. Now, the circumstance of that relationship should determine who is first, consulted. For example, if you happen to be in the same church with the person and you're getting closer, you feel things are progressing, it might just be easier and more accessible to talk to a pastor in the church. Now, that does not mean that your parents are less relevant in the decision. And like she said, at the end of the day, the parents' opinion about your potential marriage is utmost. Because in my experience, lots of people who have marital issues, especially ladies, most of them, the fathers were not in support of that marriage. So we can't downgrade, the role of the parent. Just don't make it a law that says this is who you talk to first.
I'm happy Pastor Dolly is here, and she's a minister. So, knowledge of the Holy Book, the Bible, does it make a pastor more important than a parent when it comes to making decisions about who to marry or who not to marry?
Well, I think everyone that spoke well. And I also believe the woman we just watched also spoke well. Because in most cases, women of God will not just come out to say things like this. She said,
there should be no confusion in the body of Christ. There's so much confusion when it comes to that aspect of life. And that may have warranted her, after so many years of handling marriage counseling, having to solve problems in marriages, she probably drew her conclusion that, okay, before you go into this, let us know so that we can give you this spiritual guidance that you need. Because sometimes we look at things, or we humans, we look at things on that face value. Our parents may just look at things on that face value. I remember a few years ago, my younger sister was going to get married. She has about 2 men asking her out, and she told me she had a revelation about the one that is a Christian. And from the revelation she got, that particular one she thought to be a Christian. It's not really who he says he is, and it turns out to be like that. So in such cases, being the ordinary parent, you will not be able to see beyond the physical
with the spiritual
aspect
eye
of this person. So in that case, yes. But I also want to believe that every child should be a friend to their parents. If my child is a friend to me, why will my child, because even from the beginning, I should know, even as friends to the person intended, I should know that, okay, something like this is going on between my child, even before it matured to the
point of marriage.
As a parent, being a friend to my daughter, my son, I should be able to know that, look, this is what is on the line before it gets to the pastor.
Okay.
But in most cases, why it gets to the pastors first is because most parents are not friends to their children, and the children are very much aware that what their parent will want is their interest, not the interest of the child. Because most of us in this African setting, we always look at we always look for our interest when it comes to the choice of a life partner for our children. We always look for our own class. We always look for, oh, maybe somebody from my tribe. Oh, this tribe, they are very wicked. I've counseled so many marriages. I've seen so many, whether Christians or out or not Christians, that their parents were really the reason why their marriage didn't work. I gave you an example of a man who told me that he dated a girl for 10 years. They were going to get married. The father suddenly came. He is Yoruba from Osun State. The lady was from Ogun State, Ijebu, and the father said, you can never marry an Ijebu girl. After 10 years of courtship, what happened? He broke up with the girl. The girl couldn't take it. She died a few weeks or few months later.
Okay.
Yes. And
all right.
to today, that man is not able to settle with one woman. He told me, not that somebody else, he told me, he said, Pastor, my problem was, my father started my problem. And when his daughter also was going to get married, the father came up with, she was abroad, the father came up with that same, your daughter cannot marry a Moyibo. Until he said, no, I said, no, you destroyed my life. You cannot destroy my daughter's life.
Okay.
Till today, the daughter is happily married to that Omoyibo from Edo State. You understand? Yes. So in cases like that.
That's a good one. Yeah, Omoyibo from Edo State.
Right.
Yeah, that's a group everybody who is not Yoruba
Yes.
and Omoyibo. Yes,
There
so
you
I get
go.
that. All right, let's bring in Mr. Iwenla into this. Yeah.
I think it's very important that we pay attention to what Pastor Mrs. Adeboye said.
Okay.
For me, she has a point. And sometimes, I think some few weeks back, we talked about, when they talked about for couples or men to submit their genital for examination.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I've discovered that over time, everything that goes on in RCCG has a body now. And what the pastors in the church say comes up as a result of what is trending in that
particular
at that
yes.
time.
Okay.
Now, if you look at that statement, she said there should be no confusion in the house of God. That means right now I can say for free that they are battling lots of marriage cases where two
brothers are liking one sister. Okay.
One woman.
Wow.
That's what, because it's very key that we understand this thing so we don't spread the wrong message. Because now she is saying that you should seek the counsel of the spiritual leaders, the pastors in the church before you go and meet a particular girl. That's for that pastor to tell you that, oh, this lady has been picked already, or this lady has this case already, so she's a no-go area. That's why that statement came about.
Yeah.
She's not saying categorically that don't tell your parent about your marriage, or rather talk to your pastors first before you tell your parents about your marriage.
That was what she said. That was her point.
If you demystify further, you see that, because she said there should be no confusion in the house. That means she's just referring to their
In the
case
body of Christ.
internally
Yeah.
there. So that's what came about that. Because of course, I looked from the Quran, from the Bible just last night, and I didn't see any part that says that you must
talk to
tell
your pastors
first before you tell your parents about your marriage. Yes, we should not downplay the roles of spiritual leaders when it comes to marriages. Yes, I consulted my spiritual leaders at the time I was about to get married to my wife. Yes, to seek spiritual guidance. Okay, it's true, but you won't now downplay the roles of parent and say no. Your pastors first.
No. That's my.
So we shouldn't.
I think I have an issue with the word, the phrase you used.
Okay.
That the sister has already been picked.
Yes.
So it gives me an impression that maybe there's a bad seat in the church.
No. Like, someone who is already spoken for. Lots of people,
playing with words.
And as a young person
yes.
in the church I attended, you would see some ladies and you like them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're thinking about, let me talk to this lady. And then the next week there's an announcement in church that this lady is getting married. So this is some of the confusion. Where the problem I have was a categorical statement that you have to tell your pastors first before your parents. That's no.
And I think people on social media, young people on social media, that is the
because
they
it's a law
to the video. Because if you read the comments that came after that video went viral, people Daddy Freeze, of course, went in on her, and it became like another thing.
You know why? Because that church is so influential.
So the thing is, people are thinking this kind of statements, is what makes people begin to idolize.
There you go.
So social media is just not having it.
No, I'm not having that as well.
I want to say this briefly, please. I want to say that the choice of who to marry is solely your choice.
There you go.
It's not your pastor's choice.
Yeah.
Because I want to say from after so much counseling of marriages, I've also discovered that there are cases of women who will just come out to say that I really didn't love this man. My pastor told me, God said, this is the man I should marry. God will not say this is the person you should marry that you don't love, that you cannot love. God is not the author of confusion.
Exactly.
He said, whoever finds a wife,
finds a good thing.
You are the one that is to find. No church should find for you. No pastor should find for you. I am a pastor. I agree that, okay, if you have already found, you can go to the pastor. This is who I found. But for the pastor to say, this is the
recommend
God
people
told me that you didn't
match
see
made
that way. No, the pastor can pray for you to see. But yes, so that you can see. But he shouldn't see for you.
There you go. I agree. 100%.
Okay, let's look at viewers' feedbacks. Good afternoon, house. For me, I will tell my pastor first. John Michael said that. All right, Mr. Chukwuka from Federal High Court. I prefer to tell my parents so that they will bless me. Okay. All right. To me, it's pastor before my parents, because at first time, they might not give me full support or encourage me, but the pastor will. First, he will ask, is he or she born again? A lot of things, because he's a man of God, pastor. I think that just buttresses your point about parents not being friends with their children, because he said the parents won't support him, So, well, I don't know what the parents are thinking anyway. Anyways. All right, this one says, I'll tell pastor first for spiritual clearance. Most churches won't join couples unless the groom has paid dowry and obtained parental consent. So it's balanced. Okay, most of our parents will want us to marry who they choose for us most times, especially when we're talking about tribe. But I believe the religious leaders disregard that particular characteristics in anybody before confirming their union. Okay, all right, so I think we've been able to give a clearer understanding to what she was actually saying in that video. All right, it's not because you think pastors are over and above or superior to your parents. It's just so, especially, I think it applies to Christians, So if you're a Muslim out there, you want to get married, you want to tell your imam, it's okay too.
Of course,
no one is saying they shouldn't know. Okay, but like I keep saying, where I draw the line is the clear cut, the way it was put out as a recommendation and the rule that must be followed.
I don't think
especially if you're picking your spouse from the church.
Within the church. Well, circumstances were around. Your pastors might get to know first.
But if you're getting your spouse from the club, so I mean, it's up to you what to do.
Whatever.
Right? I don't think that was the point. Like, it's
no, that's not pun intended. extended. I know a
Yeah.
couple who's been married for almost 30
It's
years.
possible.
They met in the club.
In the
You
club.
can
So-
meet your spouse
Why
anywhere.
do we
Yeah,
think the
on
club is-
Facebook, you can meet your spouse on Twitter, wherever you meet your spouse on the
But it
plane.
meet
just-
your
it's just
spouse
very good that we
anywhere.
throw a blanket advice to
Anywhere.
an average youth on social media.
Quickly, 10
Sometimes-
seconds.
Sometimes we pick the little
Cherry picking.
cherry picking and begin to dwell upon it. No,
Yeah.
get the real message and
Yeah.
make it useful to you,
And
not
work with it.
pick on what the masses are saying on social
Okay.
media. And begin to
And most times,
say
most
that
messages that is thrown to the social media is edited. So you didn't.
You didn't
Sometimes,
listen to
yeah.
the
No,
full message.
but the point
But
is
actually,
the
the
fact
full
that
message is online. It's over an hour if you care to.
no,
go
but
to
patience.
YouTube.
You know, the
Yeah.
fact that
Points
something
have been
is
made.
put
I said,
together,
points have been made.
most times you're right. That's the
Right.
more reason why you have to be explicit and not leave room for people to draw conclusions and build on. It has to be clear. It's a recommendation for our church. Okay, this is what we think is best.
Okay, so
Don't
we
go
know
telling
who
me
you're
that's how it
talking
should be
about.
done. Yeah, exactly.
All right,
So-
let's move on from this to the next topic. We're discussing the Lasso rape saga, sex for marks in tertiary institutions. The Lagos State University, Lasso, recently dismissed 3 lecturers over sexual harassment. The lecturers are Dr. Odubumi Ayola Sukomi, Dr. Ogowande Isiaka